Hey guys, question of the day was how do we know how much house we can afford? Um, graduate just this client just graduated. They have a high student loan balance. Their current debt to income ratio on their student loan is 15%. Um, income is in it going to at least be in the high hundreds. Um, so here's the advice I would give anyone listening. Um, on how to know how much house you can afford. You have to be really careful that your total debt rate, like you see here in the top right hand corner, you do not want to see that get into the 40s if you can help it. So, depending on the lender, the home lender, they might allow you to have a debt to income ratio be as high as 40%. I personally don't like to see my total debt to income ratio or debt rate inside of elements be north of 30. I mean, if it we would all love to be able to keep our total debt to income in the 15 to 20% range, but that's just not likely for most of us. Um, what we look at here is if that debt to income ratio goes up, one of these other four elements is going to come down because savings, spending, debt, and taxes all sum up to be 100%. And so if that debt rate goes from 15 to, let's say, 35, then it's going to wipe out your savings rate. You don't want to be in a position where you have no savings rate, meaning no free cash flow. Your savings rate is whatever percentage of your gross income you have left over. If you recall from my last several videos, the savings and the spending and the debt and the taxes, those are where your money can go at a macro level. Those are the first four elements. And so what you want to do is inside of your app, if you're trying to figure out how much house you can afford, insert the new mortgage payment and see where that takes your debt to income ratio. If it's pushing you over 40%, it's probably too much house. And if you're looking at this, you know, one thing you can also do though, just to hedge, because this client does have 1.5 years worth of liquidity. Um, and that's going to go down when you make a down payment, so we want to keep that liquidity still at least above a zero point 0.5, so we don't want to go down more than less than 0.5. Ideally you don't go down below a 1 if you want to be really conservative. But if you look at this and say, hey, my income, I'm starting out, let's say, in my job right now, and I know that my entry level income is going to be slightly less than where I'm going to be in a year or 2 years from now, and you know that your income's actually going to rise, like for sure, well, then maybe you can push that envelope a little bit higher on your debt to income ratio, knowing that it's going to come back. It's going to drop from 40 to 30 or from 35 to 25 or from 35 to 30. So if your income's going to climb slightly, it's okay to kind of experiment with that. But work your financial advisor is going to be able to help you determine the right debt to income ratio, and that ultimately is how you determine how much house you can afford. It's not based on the value of the home necessarily. It's based on the total payments and how that fits within your gross income. The whole point of doing this is so that we don't have too tight of a cash flow situation. We want to be able to take a vacation, want to be able to enjoy life, want to be able to um, have a nice dinner once in a while, and not be like so house poor that we're just stressed out. Once you start getting into the mid to high 30s and definitely into the 40s, which these mortgage underwriters will allow you to get a mortgage that's into the 40% range, like it's just going to be so tight. Man, if you never had to go above 15% on your debt to income, that would be beautiful. But for most of us, that's just not it's not an option in life. So I would just say 15 is like amazing. 30 is a good target. More than 40 starts to get scary. Hopefully that's helpful. And that's how you know how much house you can afford. Talk to you soon.